Welcome to Public Works in your neighborhood. The focus of this program is to provide you with important information about the activities taking place within the Public Works Division here in the city of Fort Wayne. I'm your host, John Perlich. I oversee communications for Mayor Sharon Tucker's office as well as the Public Works Division. On this month's episode, we're going to talk about solid waste services and our partnership with GFL Environmental. I'm pleased to be joined by Matt Gratz. Matt serves as solid waste manager for the city of Fort Wayne, and Jake Mortensen, who is the general manager for GFL Environmental. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being on the program.
Thanks, John.
We'd like to start each episode with learning more about our guests. And Matt, let's start with you. If you could provide some background information about yourself.
Okay. Well, I've been with the city for 25 years. All that time has been handling trash and recycling for the city. So I've seen a lot of changes over the years and a lot of good things happening here in our department. And again, it's been a good time.
GFL has been an outstanding partner of ours going back a few years. And Jake, welcome to the program. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks. So I've been in the environmental services business for about 5 years, down in Fort Wayne for a year and a half, and I'm excited for the opportunities that have came down in Fort Wayne.
We provide solid waste services here in the city of Fort Wayne. That's residential garbage and recycling collection. And Matt, let's have you take a few minutes and sort of walk us through the solid waste department, how that operation works. And there's a lot more that goes on than just that collection that we do.
Exactly. We monitor our contracts that we have with GFL for both the trash collection and recycle collection. We also monitor our contracts at the landfill with Republic Services for disposal of all the garbage that we create. And then also our recycle processing contract with, again, GFL. Other than that, we also do neighborhood cleanups throughout the neighborhood. Neighborhood associations can schedule for a neighborhood cleanup throughout the summer. That helps basically clean up blight around the community and improve the neighborhoods. We also hold some household hazardous waste events on Saturdays. We're doing 2 events this year. And another thing we do is we monitor the city's garbage ordinance. If there's any garbage ordinance complaints, scattered debris, move-out situations, carts left at the curb, we handle that kind of ordinance violations, send warning letters out, write tickets, things of that nature. And then another major thing that we took over here about 3 years ago was bulk collection for the city. So if anyone has any furniture or non-Freon appliances, they can schedule through 311 and we get those picked up for them basically on a weekly basis.
We'll revisit some of those things that Matt referenced there later on in the program. Jake, let's go and talk about GFL for a little bit. Tell us about the company, one of the largest haulers in North America, and the services you provide here in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, John. So we're the 4th largest hauler in North America. We service all 8 provinces in Canada and 28 states in the U.S. A lot of municipalities, a lot of commercial work, a lot of industrial work. Here specifically in Fort Wayne, we offer the residential collection with the city of Fort Wayne and a various number of municipalities around the Allen County and greater area. And then the commercial service we provide and the front load service. And then we also have 2 transfer stations in town that any hauler or any individual can bring material into and dispose of.
Tell us about the experience that GFL has and what sets you apart. We've had some challenges in the past with other providers. Now that GFL has been in position for a couple of years, things are back on track, going very well. How does that experience and the leadership play into that day-to-day operation that works so effectively?
It's huge to know that I have support from my leaders, the RVP, Luke DeCourcy, and his boss, Lou Berardicardi. Just unlimited amount of support that I need. We have great equipment as the trucks are only 2.5, 3 years old. And then just the people we have in place are huge, all the way from helpers to drivers to mechanics to office personnel, supervisors and maintenance managers. The people really run the business.
Matt, tell us about, from your leadership perspective, what it's been like to have GFL as our new partner.
They've been a great partner from the start. When we were having so much trouble with our previous provider, GFL, we went through a bid process. GFL won the bid, and within 6 to 8 weeks, they were able to get the trucks in. They were able to get staffed up within 6 to 8 weeks, and from day one, they started servicing residents, and it slowly got better. And again, it was rough prior to them coming in, so it's been a blessing having them here working with us, and we have a great partnership. I work with Jake all the time. I mean, we talk on a daily basis. Anything comes up, him and his staff, they get right on it to try and solve the problem. So.
Yeah, and I'd like to add to that. So a lot of our employees came over from the previous company that Matt was discussing, and just with some leadership and with some better equipment, they're able to do their job efficiently, effectively, and safely.
One of the things that we implemented in late 2024 and now is in full swing here as we're in 2025, we changed some routes and some days for collection for a number of customers. Matt, walk us through that process, why that was needed to be done, and how have things gone to this point?
Well, so far to this point, everything's been going well. I've been through with every contract, we allow contractors to change collection days. This isn't anything new. Every contractor we've ever had in the city has changed collection days somewhat. So this was one of the smoothest ones we've had. There were very few calls, and again, that goes to show you our working relationship with GFL. Both our side at the city, our GIS mapping department worked with their mapping department. We made sure all the routes were correct, make sure we all knew what was going on, and I think that's what helped it run so smoothly. I think I'd kind of like Jake to go over some of the reasons why they came to us wanting these changes. He can explain those a little bit better.
Yeah, so we actually prepped for this reroute for 6 to 9 months before it was approved and put through. We knew we wanted to make some changes. We wanted to balance out some days. We wanted to make it more consistent for our employees so that way they knew 5 days a week that they had work. And then also just kind of level set the lifts we do per each day. Some days we're heavier than others. So now we're at about a 20,000 to 29,000 lift. I mean, it kind of varies. I mean, but pretty much a baseline of 25,000 per day. So working on that, and then also for our equipment, right? The equipment ages out. We do preventative maintenance. It's on an hour schedule. So for us to be able to have some of those assets down a couple days or a day or two to be able to work on them, do the proper repairs, do them to the compliance measures that we need to, it was huge for us. But really it was all mainly for kind of a level set for the employees. It gave them consistent work.
Because I think, Jake, and one thing you were telling us from the start was, wasn't it on one day you could have up to, you'd almost need 5 extra trucks to service one day versus another day you might have 5 trucks you don't need to run.
Yeah, and it really level set which type of trucks we run too, because some days we're heavy in alleys and other days we're heavy in curb collection. So it really balanced it out. So we'll have 12 Corrado routes on the road every day. We'll have 4 ASL trucks on the route every day, and then from 7 to 9 rear loads, kind of depending on the density of the alleys.
Because we had, and sorry, John, let me say one more thing. We had, when we changed this, back when the previous provider had it, at that time we were unlimited collection. They handled the bulk. And when you have bulk collection, when you're collecting that at the same time with regular trash carts, you'll want to use different types of trucks. Back then they could use rear load trucks because they also had to collect a lot of bulk. Now if the city took over the bulk, that kind of freed contractors up to use more automation, automated trucks. And that's why for instance, the Monday area had no alley routes on it. And that's when GFL came in. They said, hey, we need to use some of our rear load trucks that right now they're running curbside routes, and that's not efficient. We need to change it up so we have alley routes to utilize rear load trucks every day of the week. So that made sense, and that's another reason I think why they needed to do it. So.
And it was nice to see the seamless transition that we had. We did, GFL led the process of mailing out information to customers. I was one of the customers who had a recycle week change, and our neighborhood adjusted appropriately and things went very well. We had social media posts. We had information that went out to the media and to the public. So I think a nice team effort made that a very easy transition for the most part. Matt, I wanted to go back to bulk collection because that's one of the major things that you oversee each day. How are things going with that? I know you've talked about the importance of calling 311, and walk us through that entire process and why that's so important to call ahead.
Okay. Well, what we want residents to do is call ahead. That way we can get them scheduled and then pick it up on their next week's collection. That way, we're running our trucks. We can run all our bulk trucks in the same area. They're not hopping over all over the city every day picking up bulk. We want to pre-schedule it so then all our trucks can go in the Monday area on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and down the road. Plus, we want to be in on those days that GFL trucks are in there as well. That way, residents aren't seeing bulk trucks and trash trucks going through their neighborhood every day of the week. So that's why if residents, they pre-schedule, that way we can schedule those out and make it more efficient for our trucks.
So if someone wants something collected, how soon in advance do they need to make the call to 311? How long does that process take?
I'd call at least 2 days in advance. That way that gives us time to get all those orders, get them routed, and then get them picked up. So at least 2 days in advance. It can be more. If 3, 4, 5 days, if you know you're going to set something out next week, give us a call. We'll get it put in, and 311 will get it put in, and we'll get it routed. So, and again, bulk collection is considered furniture and non-Freon appliances. So, and we'll take up to 3 items a week. One thing that you need to remember is mattresses and box springs. We want those wrapped in plastic, and then we can get those collected.
Matt, you referenced earlier in the program enforcement, and sometimes we don't want to have to do that, but it becomes necessary. I know you wanted to spend a little bit of time in talking about the appropriate way to bag garbage so that things aren't blowing around if something gets caught on a windy day and maybe outside of the cart. Tell us about that and how residents can help us keep the city as clean and safe as possible.
Okay, yes. So one tip to residents is it always helps to bag your trash in your cart. In your garbage cart. That way we don't have little bits of paper flying around or animals. It's not as easy for animals to get into it and spread garbage all over. So, it's a good thing. Bag your trash before you put it in your trash cart. So, and another thing with ordinance violations, if you have scattered debris at your collection site, just clean it up. It helps make the neighborhood look better, and your neighbors don't want to see that stuff too. So, and then we do have a lot of issues with residents will keep their cart at the curb all week long. Pull it back from the curb. That way, again, it makes the neighborhood look better.
Tell us about the cart maintenance services that you provide as well. Sometimes residents may have an issue with their cart that needs to be addressed. How do they go about making sure repairs are made to their equipment?
They can just call 311, and they'll put an order in through 311. My department will come out and we'll get that cart. We'll either repair it at the curb if we can. If it can't be repaired, then we'll replace the cart, and there's no additional charge for that. So,
it was mentioned earlier in the program how GFL not only provides the garbage collection, recycling collection, but GFL is also handling the recycling processing process now. And Jake, tell us about that new endeavor with us. It's not new to GFL, but new here to Fort Wayne. Walk us through how that started and how things are going right now.
Yeah, so I think it just piggybacked off our commitment to service with the collection of the recycle and trash, and we were fortunate enough to be awarded the recycle processing contract. So what we do is we pick up the materials like we would, and we offload the recycle materials at our transfer station, load them up in a compactor, 53-foot long compactor truck, and we haul them up to Pontiac, Michigan. So in Pontiac, Michigan, we have a state-of-the-art MRF there that can handle 40 to 50 tons an hour, really pulls all the material out that we can process. And the nice part about that specific MRF is it has a last chance line. So anything that the machines and the people didn't grab, it goes back down to the last line, and we can look at that material one more time to make sure that it's not recycled, or make sure that it is recyclable. We put it back into circulation. It goes through the whole process again. If it is indeed trash, then we'll pull it out and deal with that accordingly.
Matt,
and let me add to that, just so the viewers know that Jake said, I believe it was, how many tons an hour was that, Jake?
40 to 50.
40 to 50 tons an hour. One day, the city of Fort Wayne, 1 day's worth of recycling is about 50 tons for the whole day. So that kind of gives viewers an idea of how big this facility is that GFL has. And again, he said it's a state-of-the-art facility. And when we bid this out, that's what we wanted. we wanted a state-of-the-art facility that could capture as much material as possible. And with them capturing over 90% of recyclable material and keeping that out of the landfill, I mean, it's a huge plus for the city of Fort Wayne.
Matt, I know recycling is very important to you as the solid waste manager, and we have embarked on a campaign, public education awareness. Why was that so important for you to try to increase recycling and at the same time make sure that the proper materials are going in the recycling bin?
Okay, well, to start with, we always want to increase participation in the recycling. Recycling is, it creates jobs. It's a huge job creator, not only by collecting it and sorting at those facilities, but think about all the manufacturing companies that take recycled product and make new products out of it. And it just, I think it creates, recycling creates 10 times the jobs versus throwing stuff in a landfill. So, you know, that's, for our community, that's huge. By recycling, the more we recycle, the more jobs we can create. Plus, we get revenue back from the sale of the recyclables. We're estimating we could receive around $600,000 annually from recycling, from the processing contract. So again, the more material we recycle, the more revenue we receive. So, so that's one aspect that we always want to get people to recycle more. Residents need to know, there could be some new residents out there to Fort Wayne. Just know that there's no extra cost for recycling. It's already included in your utility bill. So if you don't have a yellow lidded cart, give 301 a call, we'll get one delivered. The second aspect that we're looking at is trying to keep the material as clean as possible. Sometimes residents, and what in the industry we call it wish recycling. Residents will throw stuff in a cart, hoping it gets recycled. They're not sure, but they put it in there. And sometimes when those items aren't recyclable, it creates problems down the road at Jake's Murph there in Pontiac. Mm-hmm. For instance, plastic bags are a big one. And then the shrink wrap that goes around like plastic water bottle cases. Again, that stuff gets caught up in the equipment at the Murph, and it just increases our processing costs. If some of that material would get in the bales that we're marketing, it could reduce the value of those bales. So, you know, what we want to do is get our recycle contamination level down. At one time, some routes we might have 40% contamination. So we want to get that down to a more manageable level. And the cleaner we keep the material, the better it is for the recycle program.
One of the things we did through our public outreach campaign, we implemented some fun public service announcements. At this time, we're going to take a look at one of those videos and for you to enjoy, and then we'll come back and talk more about recycling.
I wish we could recycle this.
Dad! There might be some wish recycling going on here.
That's the recycling wish fairy. She appears anytime people wish they could recycle stuff that they just can't.
Okay, and some things are not recycling. Plastic bags.
We know.
Plastic that
Oh
goes
my gosh,
around bottles.
that's not even ours.
This is embarrassing. You know better.
I don't know how that got there.
Somebody tampering with your trash, because that's illegal.
I don't know. I guess so. Yeah, because I do the good recycling.
You remember my ditty? Let me sing. Cans, clean, cardboard, food containers, bottles, paper, glass, and plastic jugs.
Oh,
What a solid song that is.
really great. It's very catchy.
You remember the whoa?
I love the whoa-whoa part. It's the most important.
The most important part is the rest of the song.
Beg to differ.
Okay, well, don't forget, when in doubt,
Throw it out. You can visit someone else now.
Help us keep the recycling machine running clean. Dispose of this somehow.
You're the fairy.
I know, but I have a lunch date.
So keep the recycling machine running clean.org is the website, and we want to thank Natalie Eggeman from our public information team, as well as Punch Films, who helped us with the production of those videos. Jake, that was a fun, lighthearted way to highlight the importance of recycling and how to do it correctly. And back to Matt's point, if things get into your processing plant that aren't supposed to, then things can get complicated.
Yeah, it can slow down the production of the recycled material. I think the most common thing that we see at the Murph is Christmas lights during the Christmas season, garden hoses in the spring and fall when people go out and turn their water back on and realize that their hose may be broke. So keep those things out of the recycle carts, and then also bagged items. So a lot of people maybe in their kitchen they have a trash bag and a recycle bag. They put the recycle items in the garbage bag that they would, and then they put it directly into the recycle container. So it's fine if you want to bag it in your house like that, but once you get out to the recycle container, just dump all the loose contents into the cart.
Yeah, because it has to be loose to get sorted, and there's pickers on the line that help take out contaminated materials from the line, but pretty much everything else is done by automation. So when you have a whole bag of recyclables, the optical sorts in that can't read the items in there, because all the items have to be sorted, and there's not enough time for workers to tear open bags and dump it out on the line, because this material is moving through. Again, 40 some tons an hour. So yeah, we can't have any plastic bags in there. Nothing can be bagged. Just everything loose in the bin.
We would encourage our viewers to visit the website we referenced earlier. In addition to the public service announcement that you saw, we also had a couple additional public service announcements that are fun, and we think you would enjoy those as well. Matt, this public outreach campaign, I know you were very involved with it and really want to take recycling to the next level here in Fort Wayne.
Yes, we do. Again, recycling, it saves energy. It saves landfill space. That's the last thing we want to do is fill up our landfill here in Allen County. Then what are we going to do with our trash? Lots of times it costs more money. If you don't have a landfill in your county and you have to truck it out to another landfill over an hour away, it's going to cost a lot more money. We're lucky. Our tipping fees here in Indiana are roughly, I think on average, about $39 a ton. Other states around us are $50, $60, $70 a ton. So eventually we're going to be up to that level. So it's best for us now to conserve landfill space, recycle as much as possible, and conserve energy and create jobs.
Jake, tell us about why GFL has made so many investments to recycling processing plants and why that's vital to your company.
Yeah, it's important to us. We want to do the right thing with the material. And a lot of the material that we consume can be recyclable. So putting it back into circulation, making products from the recycled material that goes to the MRF is important to us, and it's important enough that we decided to hire part of the contract a full-time commodity educator. So Jake Stevens is available to go to schools, churches, businesses, neighborhood partnership meetings, kind of anything Matt and myself see that would inject some good education, and that way we can continue not only increasing the volume of recycle, but also clean recycle. Because if you just increase bad recycle volume, it doesn't do us any good. So we want to increase good recycle volume.
Matt, if someone wants to get involved with that education and outreach, how do they go about that?
Basically, they can call the solid waste department or email us, and we can come out. We can speak to your neighborhood association. We also can go to the classrooms and speak as well. So I mean, we've went and spoke at some of the universities, high schools, elementary schools, you name it. We've been to it. So yeah, just get a hold of the solid waste department and we can set something up.
Jake, I wanted to ask you, as we partner with residents and neighborhoods, how can we be better neighbors, better residents as it relates to helping GFL do your job?
So the big thing for us is can placement. We always go back to can placement. So can placement is very important when we're doing curbside collection. And then if you're an alley collection, bring it within 5 feet of the road. Some customers will keep it kind of up by the fence or up by the garage. Bring it down to the road. It helps us be a little more efficient. Then going back to what Matt said, just clean up the area around it. We'll do our best. If we spill something out of the container, we'll clean it up. But there's some areas where it's a little bit trickier to get down because there's bulk items. And then also we work with Matt on low-hanging wires or trees that are interfering in our collection. So Matt does a good job getting that over to right away. So cart out night before or by 6 a.m. in the morning is very important. If you do not put it out at that time, maybe call 311 and say, hey, I forgot to put my container out, and we'll be happy to come back and get it. So we do that for the most part, but some some residents that don't put it on call it a miss, and we talk to the drivers about those misses. So it's important to put it out the night before by 6 a.m.
And another thing that helps is keep that cart, and Jake had mentioned it, but keep at least 3-foot distance between other objects, especially mailboxes. Try to keep it. We have a lot of residents that, and a lot of times they don't think about it. They'll park their car in front of the cart. Try to put it on the other side of your driveway then, so you're not parked in front of not parking your car in front of your carts.
Matt, I wanted to go back to ask about household hazardous waste efforts, our partnership with the county. How does that work, and how can people get involved in that effort?
Okay, so the Allen County Department of Environmental Management has their Tox Tuesday events every Tuesday, I believe, from 9 to 2. But then as a city, we asked them that we want to hold some Saturday events because not everyone can get to their facility on a Tuesday. So the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 years, we've been holding events on Saturdays. This year we have 2 events, October 12th or April 12th, October 11th. And we'll accept household hazardous waste from residential homes inside Allen County. And you come to us that day between 9 and 2. And this year, I believe we're going to waive the first 60 pounds will be free. And again, we just want to get a lot of those toxic chemicals that you have, under your sink or, in your garage. We want to get those out of there, dispose of them properly at our events. We don't want those in the trash carts.
Another highlight of the year for solid waste is the annual Great American Cleanup. Matt, tell us about that and what we can look forward to in 2025.
Yeah, so we're going to be holding the Great American Cleanup this year. On top of the neighborhood cleanup program that we do throughout the summer, we do a citywide cleanup in partnership with Great American Cleanup, which is a national litter and beautification event. But it'll be held here in Fort Wayne. We're going to hold it on May 3rd. Residents can go to cityoffortwayne.org, go to the solid waste department, and you can sign up a group there. We give everyone a volunteer t-shirt, gloves, trash bags, and basically clean up the community. We clean up riverbanks, greenways, busy thoroughfares throughout the city. And again, it's a great event to get involved in, volunteer. We shoot for about 5,000 volunteers a year. So,
Jake, I wanted to ask you, as a follow-up to Matt, on the hazardous waste removal on Great American Cleanup, how does that link up with GFL and really a community-wide effort to make sure everyone's doing all we can to be a great city?
Yeah, it's a huge effort. I think sometimes in residential containers we can see some of the household hazardous waste that Matt discussed too. And for the county to offer a program to take household hazardous waste to is awesome because it keeps those things out of the landfills and out of our trucks. So the things that we still commonly see are some batteries, lithium batteries, which is a part of what they do at household hazardous waste items. They can accept those items as well. So keeping them out of the equipment is very important.
yeah, because lithium batteries and other types of chemicals, once they get mixed together, they can ignite. And Jake, I know you guys have had truck fires. We've had truck fires on our side of things at the city, but you've had truck fires both in recycle and trash. They've had recycles at their MRFs before, fires at their MRFs before. So it's very important residents keep those lithium batteries out of the trash and definitely not in the recycle.
Well, gentlemen, I've really enjoyed the conversation as we learn more about GFL and the Solid Waste Department, and we'd like to thank you, the viewer, for watching Public Works in your neighborhood, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next time.